Sorry, but Love Actually it ain't. 117 services between Melbourne and Sydney reportedly cancelled or rescheduled. Flights out of Adelaide, Brisbane and the Gold Coast also affected. The culprit? Workers forced to test and isolate as close contacts. Other key industries are feeling the strain as well.
There's a sense of fatigue within the freight industry. As a consequence, you'll see less people at work as a result of either testing positive and having to isolate, or just absenteeism as a result of having to deal with their own family situations and fear.
And yesterday, the New South Wales Premier revealed 1,500 healthcare workers were in isolation. By one USyd professor's estimate, New South Wales' current case numbers alone are enough to put between 23 and 80,000 close contacts into 7-day isolation per day.
If we don't have the truck drivers to drive the trucks, we see a flow-on effect through the supply chain to the end consumer, which is the Australian citizens.
And as case numbers continue to soar, state leaders are scrambling for solutions. Among them, standardising the definition of a close contact and abandoning casual contacts altogether.
There is just no way any jurisdiction in this country or anywhere in the world can provide that same level of forensic scrutiny of every single case that might have been provided 2, 3, 4 months ago.
In terms of people staying at home if they are found to be positive or a close contact, definitions of close contacts, these are all being looked at very rapidly now.
Omicron is much more infectious, but people tend to get infected very quickly. It's so efficient in causing infections. We may not need to ask people to quarantine for as long.
Other countries have attempted to tread this tightrope with mixed results.
Countries like Denmark, we've watched what happened in Singapore. They will be using that to see if there are any hotspots, any areas where they really need to actively intervene and try and slow spread.
Test, trace, isolate and quarantine have been key to our successful COVID response. But how do we adapt the system so we can truly live with COVID?
Elliot Solomon is CEO of the hospitality group Solatel, which runs some of Sydney's most popular venues, like the Golden Sheaf, Opera Bar and the Clock Hotel. Elliot, you've decided to shut down most of your venues at what has to be a pretty lucrative time of year. Why did you make that decision?
Yeah, look, it wasn't a decision that I wanted to make. It's actually kind of forced upon us. The situation is that we're already very, very short-staffed coming into the festive season, and just with the new COVID cases coming through, and also staff getting COVID, and the resulting casual cases that come off the back of that. At the moment, we've got the Marlborough closed, Opera Bar's closed, Aria's closed, Chiswick's closed, North Bondi Fish is closed, and we're hoping to reopen after Boxing Day, but it's a day-to-day proposition. It just depends on when we get PCR test results back.
So how costly will this be for you?
Well, we've had in the last week, we've had about 6,000 cancellations for the coming 10 days. Wow. And about half of those are customers cancelling, but about another half are us cancelling because we have to close the venues because we don't have the staff, or now because of the new capacity restrictions, we have to cancel bookings again. So, more than anything, it's just heartbreaking.
Elliot, there's been a lot of chat about the definitions of close and casual contact rules. What's been the biggest issue for you?
The biggest issue is the casual contact rules. So as it stands, you have to get a PCR test and get a negative result to come back to work. But as we're all aware, there's huge wait times for results, up to 72 hours. And so what that means is we just don't have the staff to open the shifts. So if the PCR tests came quicker, or we started to use rapid antigen tests more thoroughly, then that would probably help.
Do you think, Elliot, that it was a mistake for the government to lift the mask mandate when it did? Do you fear that we may not have been in this situation if they had have kept the masks?
Look, I'm not sure if it was a mistake or not, but I definitely think it was a good idea to bring them back. They definitely reduce the spread of the virus, and they also make staff and customers feel more comfortable. So I think it's great they're back.
Is the business in a position to do anything to help all these casuals losing pay, or at the end of such a long pandemic, is it too tough for you guys to do that?
Yeah, look, we're looking into things. During the lockdown periods, we were sending out food boxes to anyone that wanted them. We were doing financial hardship loans as well. So we're looking into that again. But, you know, the issue is that it's a day-to-day proposition. So one day might be cancelled, but the next day we might be reopened. But we're definitely looking into it at the moment.
Thanks for your time, Elliot. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.